and welcome to Night and Books. Today we have brought you our huge January haul. We did one trip into London in January where we bought most of these books, if not all, quite a lot of them at Forbidden Planet, which I would like to say it was because they had a January sale, but I'm not sure they actually did much. I think it's just been a while since we were there and they had a lot of new releases that we hadn't seen before, and we're very excited to pick up.
So, my first is A Spoonful of Magic by Irene Radford, which I knew absolutely nothing about, but yeah, I think it was face out in Forbidden Planet, and it's got quite a pretty cover, and it sounds like a ridiculously cute urban fantasy.
It sounds so silly.
The protagonist discovers that a world of magic exists. Her husband has a vengeful ex-wife, and she herself has her own cooking magic, which she didn't know existed. Sounds deliriously silly, but you know, that's me all over. My
first one is Everfair by Nisi Shawl, which just sounded really interesting and exactly like the kind of thing I'm trying to read more of this year. So this is, I think, an alternate history of the colonisation of the Belgian Congo, asking what would have happened if the native populations had access to advanced technology. I think it might be a little steampunky. Very much looking forward to seeing how they do this.
My next is something that I really hope is true. You're Never Weird on the Internet, Almost, by Felicia Day. This is an autobiography of somebody I've been following on and off on the internet for 15 years, probably.
We were very excited to see Binti, the Night Masquerade in Forbidden Planet. I hadn't actually realised this was out yet, so yay. This is the third in a series by Nnedi Okorafor of novellas, which follow a girl as she becomes the first from her tribe to go to Space University, and then when she comes home again. I'm looking forward to seeing how this finishes the series off.
The next one is To Light the Lightning by Ada Palmer, which I think it's fair to say we bought almost entirely because of BookTube. There's been so much buzz about this. It's science fiction, first in the series, and it's a bit of a junker, so I'm hoping it pays off.
The next one I picked up was another Nnedi Okorafor, which is Akata Witch, which I think is the first in a trilogy, or series at least, and slightly more, I think, on the YA side. I don't know much about this. I've read enough Nnedi Okorafor to know that I will probably like her books, but I know this follows an albino girl in a world that involves magic.
My next one is Autonomous by Annalee Newitz. This is science fiction. I think feels like it's going to be quite in the mould of Infomocracy.
They have very similar covers.
Yes, true. It features a biohacker in a self-made submarine who hacks DRM on drugs and distributes them to the deserving populace.
A book which I feel like everyone has already read is Homegoing by Yaa Gyasi, which, unlike most of the books we got, this is not science fiction or fantasy. I think it is just kind of straight fiction, following two sisters, one sold into slavery and one a slave trader's wife.
My next is Black Panther, A Nation Under Our Feet by Ta-Nahesi Coates and Brian Stelfreeze. I'd actually been meaning to pick this up for ages. I've read quite a lot of Ta-Nahesi Coates writing online and really enjoyed it, and I was quite intrigued to see what his step into fiction is like. With any luck, I'll finish reading this before we go and watch the film.
The next book I picked up was How to Stop Time by Matt Haig. A few years ago then we read The Humans by him, which we both really liked. Matt Haig tends to write a kind of mixture of some middle grade, some literary, and then The Humans is, as far as I know, the only book other than this one that kind of dips into science fiction. So I'm hoping I like this as much as I did that.
I'm getting into sequels now. So this one is Elite, a sequel to Hunter by Lackey. This is set in a post-apocalyptic world where people have rebuilt and carried on with their lives, except there are monsters outside the walls, and the people that go out and hunt them are social media celebrities. It's just a fun setup.
Another book that we've heard a lot of good things about on BookTube is The Bear and the Nightingale. I think this is the first in a series of books that play upon Russian folklore. I should probably read Uprooted first, which is in a similar vein. Maybe I need a reading Russian books month, but not by people who are Russian, because apparently we don't own any of those.
My next sequel is Beneath the Sugar Sky by Shawn and McGuire, which is the third in the Wayward Children series, which I believe takes place in the timeline after the first book. So this is a true sequel. And I know very little about it, and frankly don't need to. We were always going to buy it. The Wayward Children series focuses on children that find other worlds, whether it's through the back of the wardrobe, down a rabbit hole, or some other strange means of getting there, and then they've come home. And when I say home, I mean the world they started in. Often they find out that they no longer fit, and it's not as much like home as they were hoping.
The next book is a bit of a classic, and one I've been meaning to pick up for a while. This is Thomas More's Utopia, which I've mainly wanted to read because it gets referenced a lot whenever you talk about dystopian fiction, utopian fiction.
Is it coined the word, I think?
It might be. And it's only a little book, so while I don't usually get along with classics, I feel like this one might be worth it just to be able to be involved in the conversation of the roots of a genre that I really like.
My next one is Unbound by Jim Hines, which is the third in the Magic Ex Libris series, literally Magic from the Library, which is a pretty good title for the series. Magic in this world comes from books, and it's linked to how many people have read the book in that particular format. So you can reach into a Star Trek novelisation and pull out a phaser. But the more people have read it, the more times you can do that. It's a fun series. It's very silly, but I enjoyed it.
The final thing I picked up is Rat Queens Volume 4 by Weeb, Gienny and Ferrier. This is a graphic novel series that I find a lot of fun. It draws upon a lot of high fantasy tropes, but has a lot of fun with them, and has some really amazing female characters that are just hilarious.
Last one is Saga Volume 8 by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples, and if you watch any booktube, you've probably heard people talk about this series. Following two star-crossed lovers from a planet and its moon who have been at war for longer than anybody can remember.
This series is weird, but a lot of fun. Okay, that was everything we bought in January. We're going to struggle to fit those on the shelves, but that's okay, because we're going to read them all really soon, right?
Yeah, totally. And it's alright, because we're not going to buy any books in February at all. Oh no, wait.
Too late. We already have a haul for February that is nearly the same size as January, and we're not that far through the month, so yes. Reading, lots of reading.
And book buying ban, for the moment at least.
If there are any of these that you think we should get to post-haste, then let us know in the comments. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again soon.